In a shocking turn of events, Vice President Kamala Harris has allegedly leaked a video that could change the political landscape forever. In this video, President Trump is caught saying things that could leave his supporters and critics alike speechless. Buckle up, because we're diving deep into this explosive revelation. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Today, we're unpacking a story that's shaking the foundations of American politics: Kamala Harris's alleged leak of a devastating video of Donald Trump.
If they had, there would have been mass protests. It would have been an outrage. Such a person would have been canceled and shunned by society. And yet, thanks to the so-called establishment Republicans like Mitch McConnell, Trump wasn't only invited, he was actually a guest of honor. And he could be on track to be on more podiums, spewing more hatred and sowing more division for the next 4 years as our next president. Make no mistake about it. Those Republicans who have normalized Donald Trump, and in crucial moments when the American public looked to them for guidance, they are the ones who relented. They are the ones who looked away from Trump's extremism and transgressions, allowing him to become a permanent fixture in our politics and in our life. And you know what's even worse? Behind closed doors, they knew exactly what they were doing. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland. He was the lead House impeachment manager during Trump's second impeachment trial and one of the 9 members of the January 6th House Select Committee. Congressman, it's great to have you here in person. Just your thoughts, when you kind of look at what we just laid out there and the normalization of Donald Trump, that yet we talk about how much of a danger he is, how much of a threat he is, what he has done to the fabric of our politics and to our country, and yet he is still normalized in these types of setting among the powerful, the elite, and the wealthy in this country.
Thank you for having me, Eamon. Your intro brought me back to the Senate impeachment trial where Mitch McConnell indeed said that Donald Trump was practically and morally responsible for everything that took place, which was completely obvious after we introduced the evidence in the case. But he said that the Senate lacked jurisdiction to try a former president, which was a proposition that not only contradicted 2 centuries of precedent, but it was one that we dealt with on the first day of the trial. There was a procedural motion to dismiss on the grounds that we didn't have jurisdiction, and that was rejected. So in a certain sense, that makes the 57-43 verdict in the trial, which sounds like a conviction, but we needed 2/3. We needed 67. It really makes it into the greatest case of jury nullification in American history, because McConnell and 20 other senators who said the same thing essentially went back to a question of law that had already been disposed of at the preliminary level in the trial in order to decide the facts, when they all said the facts were very clear that Donald Trump had incited an insurrection. But what it really reflects is the balance of power in the Republican Party. They were not willing to take Trump on because they felt that he could walk away with too many millions of people. He was threatening to run against the Republicans. And that's the bottom line. I mean, with these atrocious, vulgar, repulsive remarks that he made at the Al Smith dinner, what we see is that nobody is really willing to take Trump on. The Senate wasn't willing to convict him. The Supreme Court is in his pocket because he's gerrymandered and stacked and packed the Supreme Court. The Republican Party, except for Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and Mitt Romney and a handful of others, is not willing to take him on, which means that the American people must do it at the election, because all of the other institutions have completely capitulated to this fraud of a man.
So to that point about how fragile our system is, and specifically the types of people that are like Mitch McConnell, these are people who, he announced his retirement and so no longer has political skin in the game. And perhaps that's why now his book, or he's comfortable with his thoughts about Trump being shared again in this book. But is it because of power that these people are just cowards and are afraid to stand up to Donald Trump, lest they end up like a Liz Cheney, having power stripped from them?
Well, there's some tribalistic tectonic shifts taking place in the country. America, because of the brilliance of our founders and also the extraordinary social and political and constitutional struggles we've been through, is now the world's greatest multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious constitutional democracy. And there are some people who can't handle that fact. Donald Trump is the leader of those people, and they're willing to forgive anything he says, all of his vulgarities, his sexual assaults against women, his sexual harassment of women, his invocation of racist tropes, his anti-Semitic utterances, like if he loses, it will be the fault of the Jews, and so on. They're willing to forgive all of that simply because they can't handle the new America that's emerged.
Jacob, you know, you're someone who worked with the January 6th committee. You helped expose so many of the various narratives around Trump's role in the insurrection. How discouraged are you to see 4 years on Republicans going from condemning the riot to downplaying it as of no big deal and now completely even rewriting it as saying a day of love?
Well, I would take it one step further and say that I'm actually quite terrified because of the conversations that I had again and again and again with dozens of people who went on to storm the Capitol. Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, QAnon adherents. I talked to them. I got their story with my team. And part of what we saw was that this was not a one-off answer to a call by Donald Trump that was just a January 6th phenomenon. These people had long paths to extremism. Their paths to the Capitol were littered with other instances of engaging with extremism because of racist tropes against the Black Lives Matter protest over the summer, because of extreme conspiracy theories against Democratic governors earlier in the year during COVID, because of homophobia, misogyny, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. And that came across in our interviews, in our depositions. And so what I'm really concerned about now are the seeds that are being laid by Donald Trump and others to basically.
What does this mean for the upcoming elections? And how did this video come to light? Let's find out. Donald Trump has been a polarizing figure since he first took office in 2017. From his controversial policies to his unfiltered social media presence, he's never been far from the headlines. But what if there was a hidden side to Trump that the public has never seen? According to multiple sources, Kamala Harris obtained this video through a whistleblower within Trump's inner circle. The video reportedly shows Trump making shocking comments about various groups of people, revealing a side of him that contradicts his public persona. But why would Kamala leak such a video? Kamala has always been a fierce critic of Trump, especially regarding his policies on immigration, healthcare, and civil rights. This leak could be seen as a strategic move to mobilize voters ahead of the upcoming election. But what exactly did Trump say in this video? In the video, Trump discusses his views on immigration, race relations, and even his own supporters. Some insiders claim that his comments are not only derogatory but also reveal deep-seated biases that challenge the very foundation of his political platform. The internet exploded with reactions. Users across platforms like Twitter and TikTok shared their disbelief and outrage. Memes, videos, and commentary flooded social media, with hashtags like #TrumpLeaks trending globally. But how are political analysts interpreting this situation? Kamala's decision to leak this video suggests a level of desperation. The stakes are high, and she's clearly willing to take risks to gain an advantage. The fallout from this leak could be catastrophic for Trump. Imagine a scenario where his base begins to fragment as more people see this side of him. What does this mean for the Republican Party as a whole?